So, as we all know about the war going on in the Ukraine against Russia, to be more precise, it's Russian invasion. They invaded to Ukraine. So today I wanted to know some ground reports, some historical points, and the real one. This is not a TV debate. This is not like that drama. If you're looking for that, you can leave this video right now. But if you are looking for some authentic information from Ukrainian nationalist guy, I'm here. He's my friend, Danil Litvinov. Welcome him. And so, Danil, first of all, I'm sorry for the condition going on in your country. It was not supposed to be happen, and no one is happy with that. But still, it's happening. So
Yeah,
I
sadly.
just want to know a bit history behind this. Why did this start? If there is any reason.
Well, there are reasons. There are official reasons that have been provided by Putin in his official call. He is officially worried that NATO is expanding and their cooperation with Ukraine is a direct threat to the Russian strategic interests in the region. That's
Okay.
an official version. And there are more unofficial conditions for
Yeah,
that.
I want to know those conditions
right.
more because
So-
officials are all over there on media.
Yes, they are. Now, we have to understand that for the past 8 years, and even longer than that, I believe for more than 8 years, there has been agenda pushed through the Russian media that Ukrainian people and Russian people, they are actually one folk that is separated by borders. And everyone who says otherwise on Ukrainian side, they're nationalists who want to, oppress Russian-speaking population. I personally believe that belief in the unity of Eastern Slavs, it has some ground behind it, yes. We clearly trace all our legacy back to Kievan Rus. We existed on the pre-modern times in one state. But
Okay.
there are also different details that you must consider. You must consider that modern Russians and modern Belarusians and modern Ukrainians are not the same guys, not the same people that lived in Kievan Rus.
Okay.
We split, we separated. It's like claiming that because of the common past of the Roman Empire, Serbia, Croatia, and Italy must be all united in one state under Italian rule. I mean, this is a complete nonsense from a modern point of view.
Yeah.
But if we extrapolate that argument on Western Europe, for some reason, at least to Russian officials, it makes sense. Well, that's the first thing. And the second thing is we also must consider the fact that Putin himself, he is a former KGB officer.
Yeah.
If such term as former KGB officer ever exists in this world, he is one.
Let's say it exists.
Let's say that.
Yeah.
So it is clear that
I'll bring this.
so back to the point.
Yeah.
As a former KGB officer, he's been brought up and indoctrinated in a great loyalty to the Soviet Union.
Okay.
And he actually believes openly, because it was stated by him previously, that the collapse of the Soviet Union is, according to him, a great geopolitical catastrophe
Okay.
of the 20th century. So he views that as a catastrophe.
At the same time, Ukrainians call it independence.
Yes, like everyone calls it independence
Yeah.
except Russian officials. Yes, and Putin.
Okay.
So that collapse, I think Putin is determined to fix in a way.
Fix or reverse?
Well, fix, because let's
Because
say...
yesterday we both were in a conference and some people were saying he's trying to reverse.
Well, I mean, I do not think that it's possible at this point
Yeah.
of complete reverse.
Yeah, same.
But clearly, he wants to rekindle that sentiment. It's very conflicting, by the way, because if once hears his full speech, he actually blames communists for betraying the national interests of Russia by creating national republics. So by saying that, he actually appeals to even pre-communist Russian imperial times, when there was only Russian Empire and their dominions. So at this point, I think we should understand that there is a thing of Russian imperialism, which exists regardless of ideology. It existed in Russian imperial times. It got transformed during the Soviet times. But this is fundamentally a geopolitical question.
Okay.
Whatever country dominates the region of Eurasia, the so-called heartland, it will have inevitably imperial sentiments.
Okay.
So, same goes with most of the Russian patriots. They have a very confused feelings about Russia's history.
On this patriotism, I have a short question. Sorry to disturb. As I know, some of media houses are telling that there is Russian ethnicity and Ukrainian ethnicity both present in a big number in Ukraine.
Indeed so.
Is there any instability because of Russian ethnicity in Ukraine? Are they patriots to Russia, not to Ukraine? Is it like that?
I think any instability that was before, right now Ukraine is united like it was never united before. So thanks Putin to that.
Okay.
You know, he united our country against the common enemy. But whatever differences existed before, they were not necessarily caused by ethnic divide. They were caused by ideological divide.
Yeah.
Because we had Ukrainians, ethnic Ukrainians, who, for instance, didn't share the enthusiasm about Ukraine being independent. And at the same time, we had ethnic Russians who actively supported not only the Revolution of Dignity in 2014, but also they supported Ukraine's statehood per se. They didn't have that nostalgic sentiments about Soviet past. So yes, majority of Russian-speaking population, I'm afraid, I cannot provide statistics and numbers.
Okay.
But the majority of Russian-speaking population in eastern Ukraine, specifically, they were heavily influenced by Russian propaganda. Because Russian propaganda conducted in Russian.
Anyone can get influenced by the propaganda.
Yes.
Right now, I think majority is influenced by Western propaganda.
Yeah, indeed. So it's also a war of propaganda at this point.
Yeah. So when we were talking about all this thing, the most important thing during this war came out like it happened all because of the Ukraine's desperation about NATO. Do you really think that's the reason? And why is it important for Ukraine?
Well, you have to go back in history to understand that. Ukraine has been trying to distance itself from Russia for a very long time.
And at the same time, majority of the opinion makers are saying if Ukraine becomes NATO member, American army will land on the border of the Russia. And why Russia would want that?
Well, we can say that there is an opinion that Ukraine can go both ways. We had different presidents in our history, in the history of Ukraine, with different foreign policy vector of development. Some of them were actively pro-Western. Some of them were actively pro-Russian. Some of them were neutral.
What about Zelensky, the current one?
Zelensky currently is very pro-Western, clearly.
Okay, and does local public support that idea?
Well, you see, before that, opinions were polarized. At this point, even I myself do not believe that NATO can help.
It is not helping, actually.
It's not helping, and it will not help.
Yeah.
Because they do not want to get involved in a war. And the point is, we will not be admitted for as long as we have territorial disputes, which is Crimea.
So in this condition, I want to know, like in two lines, what's the motive of Russia now to invade Ukraine? How he will get benefits from Ukraine?
Honestly,
Because right now
I
it's
have no idea.
because right now it's already declared that NATO is not allowing Ukraine, and after these conditions, I don't believe NATO will ever allow Ukraine. Right? Then why this war is ongoing? Why didn't he stop?
I think I've discussed the point of like rekindling the Soviet Union,
Yeah.
etc.
So
I
that's
think we should consider that as
That's
well. It's
still-
not just clear, pure political reasoning there.
Yeah.
It's not like strategic interest.
So
we
that's-
can talk about strategic interests here.
that's still major interest. Yeah.
Yeah,
the former one.
rekindling the Soviet Union, yes, that's
Okay.
one interest.
Okay. One more thing I want to talk to you about. These days, Zelensky became real famous.
Yes.
The comedian turned president. What is the emotion of general public from Ukraine about him? How do they look at him?
They support him
Just
greatly.
blindly?
Blindly. At this point,
No,
blindly
at this
support him.
point. Before this, how was it?
They will be closing in 5 minutes.
Okay.
All right.
Hold on.
So
How was it before that?
Before, people had a conflicting opinion about him.
Ah,
They elected him in the first place because they grew tired of any other candidates. We
Okay.
grew tired of the same people applying for the positions. We already knew about their corrupt connections. We needed something new. So
Okay.
Ukrainians elected him. They gave him the chance. And yeah, there were problems with his team. There were problems with him lacking experience in being the leader of the country. But I think at this point of crisis, he has proven that yes, with all the vices, he's still devoted to Ukraine. He still believes in Ukraine. He's still in Kiev. He's still with his people. And that increased support for him tremendously. Even Ukrainian nationalists at this point, like the most radical ones, are supporting him because, you know, he's ethnically Jew. And most of like radical Ukrainian nationalists were very much skeptical about him. Now even they support him.
but when it came to war, everyone became one unit.
Yes, that is the most fascinating thing about this war.
And how do you feel about this thing?
I feel great. I feel great because
Will it remain after this war?
no,
Are you sure
I
about
think
that?
it will remain for some time. But as soon as economical rebuilding is complete, people will go back to being skeptical. People will go back to
On the same track. let's say.
yes, because that's how we do that. We get used to good things. In times of crisis, we unite, but when good times come, we become soft and lazy, and we start to think too much. That's it.
Okay, there is one more popular opinion on Indian media, especially. Not media, sorry, social media.
Okay.
They are saying like complete Western media, including Indian media, is like busy in praising Zelensky. They are supporting Ukraine like blindly, but Russia has also some good stand. What's your opinion on that? Like they say Russia was in threat.
Oh, really? Okay. Well.
Yeah, I'm talking about social media.
No, I do understand that. Of
Yeah.
course, I
And this opinion is popular. It's not like just two people.
yeah,
three people.
I know. I'm very well aware of that.
Yeah.
There are even people who try to portray this war as not a war of Russia against Ukraine, but a war of Russia against the global
Or
world
let's say
order.
America.
Yeah, America
Yeah.
and all that. But I mean, like, it's not Americans who get bombarded right now
Yeah.
in Ukraine. It's Ukrainians who are getting bombarded.
Yeah.
And from the Ukrainian point of view, they're not defending LGBT rights. They don't do that. They don't fight for a fair and open elections like that specifically. You know, they're not fighting for like European democratic. They might think that they are, but in fact, when you strip all rhetoric off of it, you understand that they're fighting for the independence of Ukraine, because they do not believe, and actually no one believes, that Ukraine will be independent after it is occupied, after and if it is occupied by Russia. It will not be independent. It will turn into a puppet state, And Russia has a reputation of being very authoritarian, very suppressive, and very non-democratic in this regard. So, yes, if you take Russia's position, if you believe in those arguments, yes, you can defend Russia. I can understand those people. But okay, there.
Okay, let's end
Okay,
with
yes,
this
let's
argument.
stop on
Just
that and
finish.
we'll continue later.
Спасибо.
Okay, спасибо.
So, say your closing statement. We will close this and we will try to record some other.
All right, so at this point we have to leave now, but I'm sure that we will be able to continue this discussion just for the note.
Yeah, because I have a lot more to discuss, even about India and Indians in Ukraine.
Okay.
Even
all right.
according to the reports, there are some racism happened during this war situation.
Oh, really?
So, one answer, yes or no. Do Ukrainians are like generally support racism like they are doing right now? They are not letting Indians to board the trains. They are not letting Africans to board the trains. But white people, let's say, they are allowed to board the trains. Is it normal, or just started because of this war or because of the India's neutral position?
I cannot answer that right now.
You don't know about that.
I don't
yeah?
know about that.
Yeah, okay, because this thing is highlighted in Indian media because of Indians.
Because of
involved.
India,
Yeah, but these things happened. I don't know there was a political reason or racism. People say there was racism behind that, but I think it was political because India abstained about voting against Russia or pro-Ukraine. Like, they didn't vote at all.
Yes, yeah, like kind
So
of stuff, right?
yeah, some of them might thought that like if we will put some pressure on Indian citizens here, they might feel some pressure or they might take a side because there are 20,000 Indians in Ukraine, and that's a big number.
Yes.
So all these things happened. We will talk more about these things because I don't think you are done with your things. I don't think I'm done with things.
Yes.
So
We'll still have more to talk
we'll
about.
come back later soon because today things didn't go according to our plan. But yeah, we will complete this. Till then, take care. Keep smiling if you can.